Thank you. Okay, so they text me, call or whatever, said, you want to speak? I said, sure. I love doing this stuff because it selfishly makes me better, but I never want to talk about football when I get up and speak because I don't think that's the most important thing. I can relate to Coach Hall because it doesn't do it for me. Like, it doesn't do it. It's like when a fat chick walks in here, like, I don't get excited over it. Like, I just don't do it. So I'll be straightforward as who I am, transparent as can be. I'm super grateful to be here. Honest to God, I got a vasectomy last Friday. So I've been like waddling around all week. I've been in and out of the hospital, ER. Like, I got some brain thing going on for the last month. My wife's been out of town all week. I've had my 2 daughters by myself with my mother-in-law helping me. So I'm freaking jacked the hell up to be out here talking football. So I'm grateful to be here. I sat in a clinic, 15 years ago when I was a 23-year-old head coach. And the guy got up there and had a book in his hand. And listen, I cheated my way through 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. I graduated college without ever buying a book. I'd never read a book, probably full front cover to back cover in my life. And that one guy at that one clinic, it was at Ohio Wesleyan, changed my life. And I started researching. I'm like, oh, that successful person reads. That successful person reads. That successful person. Okay, so listen. The one thing I did develop in high school was this skill to copy off of smart people. So, like, if you want to be successful, I'd probably copy off smart people. Here's probably, I don't know, what is that, 8 books that I've read probably in the last 4 or 5 months. All of them are really good. All of them have probably played a part into this presentation because these become your mentors, and then you learn, you listen, you believe, all that stuff from these books. So I'd recommend all these books to read. If you're not a reader and you're a young coach, start reading. That's my recommendation. Okay, what they didn't tell me, they wanted me to talk about defense. I love defensive football. If you want to talk defense, give me a call. We'll talk defense. But I was a 23-year-old head football coach, and I wish I said, okay, if there's a 23-year-old head football coach or a young coach in here that could get some lessons, here's what I wish I would have been told when I was this idiot. Because that cat right there was an absolute – I'm an idiot now. That cat was like an idiot squared on steroids. So what they didn't tell me, I'm going to go through some lessons. If this doesn't help you, I'm not apologizing. That's your fault. If it does, good. Okay, I wish somebody would have told me this right off the jump. Nobody cares. Nobody. The people in your house, the people that like actually love you, like they care about you as a football coach. Nobody else really cares. I wish I would have known that because I remember going and having a conversation like, I want to be a big-time football coach. I want to be on the big staff. Like, nobody cares. If you think people care about you as a football coach, resign today and listen to what the first question is going to be. You know what the first question is going to be? Who's the next coach? They don't care what you're doing, why you're resigning, where you're going. They probably will never talk to you most of the time. Will probably never talk to you after that. You're just coaching ball. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a 23, because I was like, man, this is a big deal. It caused a lot of stress in my life. The animosity towards people, all the things. Like, nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. The people in your life, the people that are going to attend your funeral, and then the people that are going to actually cry at your funeral, they're the only ones that care. And I guarantee you, when we all die, if a bomb goes off, our funerals will be lightly populated. They'll be lightly populated. And if it's rainy, some people won't even come. I wish somebody would have told me this. The kids are watching, man. The kids are watching everything you do. So your personal standard, it better be extremely high. I wish somebody would have told me that. The kids are watching. Right? Preach the gospel every single day and sometimes use words. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a young coach. Because, we're coaches. Like, I was the guy, and I hate the guy that shows up and says, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? I told you this 800 times. And then they're the one, you're like, wait a minute, coach. Your personal standard's low as shit. Wait a minute. Like, you haven't coached hard every day, and you want me to practice hard? Wait a minute. You don't study in the offseason. You don't show up to the weights in the offseason, and you want me to show up to the weights in the offseason? Like, I don't understand that. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a young coach. Man, the kids are watching. How do you go about your business? Is everything that you do setting the standard for how kids should act? Because, God dang, I don't know about you guys, but my high school head football coach was the God to me. He was my God. I looked, watched, worshiped everything that he did. And I was lucky, fortunate enough that he had extremely high personal standards. And then I see, when I saw myself as a 23-year-old head coach, and then I see other coaches with extremely low standards, and they're modeling the way for kids. Either change your standards, raise your standards as a human being, or get the hell out of coaching. That's what should happen. Because right now I see too many guys with too many low personal standards that are modeling the way for kids, and it's just one big mountain of average. One big mating ball of anaconda average. All right, you determine your success. I wish somebody would have told me this when I was young. It's not your AD. Most athletic directors suck, guys. It's not changing. It's not changing. Most administrators suck. It's not changing. I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. Not the ones at Coffman. I promise you, they don't suck. But you're not a victim to the people that are responsible for you. You're not a victim because of the place you're at. You're not a victim because of the personnel that you're dealing with, the clientele that you're dealing with. You determine your own success. What is success? I don't know. But what you determine that. When I was a young coach, I wanted to win state championships. That was my thing. I want to win state championship. I want to be a head coach to prove people I can be a head coach, and I want to win state championship. And then we won a state championship, and it was like, these guys still don't listen to me. And then it was like, all right, but maybe we got to win more. So then we won a second one. And then after the first one, everybody celebrates, and it's really cool because it's like, you've arrived. And then after the second one, everybody's like, good shit, dude, what are we doing tomorrow? It's not that important, right? I go back to number one. Nobody cares. But you determine your own success. Why do you coach, man? I know why I coach. I know why I coach. I could go 0-10, just like I could go 0-10. I could go 0-10. As long as we're getting behavior change and we're raising the human standard of our guys, man, like that's exactly why I coach. Our job is to maximize people in our program. That's why I coach. You determine your success. No one else influences that standard. Nobody else. Not an administrator, not a parent, not a community member, not anything. It's me, our staff, and our kids. We determine our own success. I used to go home and complain. I used to go home and complain, man, our assistant coaches don't do this. Man, our AD's terrible at this. Man, this principal sucks. None of that matters. None of that matters. I wish somebody would have told me that. Geron, shut up. None of that matters. You're just being a victim. Coach your people, determine your success. It's not about where you coach. I wish somebody would have told me this. God dang, it's not about where. I remember I was an assistant coach, volunteer assistant, and our defense coordinator came to me and goes, Geron, what do you want to do, man? I just graduated college. It took me like 8 years. I remember I didn't buy a book. It took me like 8 years to graduate college. And he said, Geron, what do you want to do? I said, I want to coach in Columbus where we can like kick field goals when we get in like field goal range. I remember saying that. Like I want like big time. Well, one, I hate kickers now. Like it's terrible. But two, like I look back and it was like, man, it's not about where you coach. I've been at Urbana, like a medium-sized school. I've been at Minster, a small country rural school, and I've been at Dublin Coffman, a big Division I school. All of them suck. All of them have great things about them. All of them. It's not about where you coach. It's always about with whom, man. Every single stop I've been, I've developed foxhole or gained foxhole people in my life that have made me better. I could resign tomorrow. Somebody else can have the Coffman job. It's not that cool. However, my people will always be with me. Your logo on your shirt does not matter. It's cool. Have your pride. Talk about all the generic cliche things that coaches talk about. None of that matters. It's about the people. It's about the people. I'll probably change jobs 16 times from now. But you know what? Always be most important is the people that you're surrounding yourself with. It's always the most important stuff. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a young coach because I was like, man, I want to get to Coffman. And then you get to Coffman, you realize, well, there's less people that care about Coffman football than they did at Minster. So, like, what'd you come here for? Well, you know what I came here for? I came here to work with better people. It's not about where you coach. It's always about with whom. I wish somebody would have told me this when I was a 23-year-old head coach. You have to become an expert. That's your job as a coach. You've got to be the expert. Well, you're a culture guy. Yep, you better be a culture guy. You better know how to get behaviors. You better know how to get people to do things the right way. Like you better demand a standard, drive a standard. You better be a culture guy. If you don't understand how to create culture, you're cheating kids, right? Okay, well then you've devoted so much time learning how to like develop an elite, high-performing culture. Great, but you don't know scheme. Well, I'm not a guy. Culture eats strategy for breakfast, or whatever the saying is. Your ass better know strategy too. You better be an expert. That's what kids are asking you to do. That they show up and expect the coach to be able to teach them the right stuff, drive them to do the right stuff, and then put them in the right situation, scheme, structure, whatever you want, fundamentals. You better be an expert in strategy. What I was when I was a young high school coach is I was like, man, I'm a culture guy. I grew up. We're like, you learn from Jim Tressel, and that was the guy that I modeled. And then Urban came, and it was like, then Nick Saban and Pete Carroll and all these guys I was studying and learning. Like, I'm a culture guy. And next thing you know, we were getting our ass kicked because of strategy. It was like, oh, culture, we eat strategy for lunch. And then Marion Local just kept kicking our ass because their strategy was better than ours. It's like, all right, well, you better be an expert in strategy too. And if you're not an expert in strategy, go study. It's 2024. You can go learn from anybody and everybody 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Go study strategy. Okay, so I've become an expert in culture, right? I've done my work in culture. I know how to drive a lead. I've become an expert in strategy. I put our kids in, I don't run into unblocked defenders, and like defensively, like we have every gap accounted for, and we're forcing the ball to where it needs to be. Like we get all that. Now, here's what I find a problem, and I wish I would have known this when I was a young coach, is can you get your kids to do all that? Cool. You know strategy. Cool. You know culture. But like, can you go out on a practice field and get your kids to execute at a high clip? That's it, right? Like culture, strategy, and execution. That's the jam. You better become an expert at that. I wish somebody would have sat me down and put electrodes on me or whatever. And be like, you better become an expert. If you're not becoming an expert, because we expect our kids to know exactly what they're doing, right? They should be able to live right, do right, act right, breathe right, like talk right, and then execute right. They should know all that. But you as a coach, I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a young coach. Be so good at your job they can't say shit, man. Because listen, as a coach, you're taking bullets. You're taking arrows. They're shooting. Somebody is coming at you. Listen, if you're a tough guy coach, if you're a tough demanding coach, they're going to say you're too tough. If you're a soft-spoken, calm guy, they're going to say you don't have enough energy. Right? If you're a culture guy, they're going to say, well, yeah, he knows culture, but he doesn't know strategy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't put our guys in the right situation. They're coming to attack you. That's what slugs do. That's what people do. They're coming to attack you. I got in trouble. I didn't get in trouble. I got attacked at the last place I was at in Minster. We had a drinking problem. Everybody in the community drank. Like as soon as you came out of the womb, you're still slimy. They gave you like a shot. Like it was like everybody's drinking, right? So my job as a coach was like, all right, I'm gonna fix it. You know, my ego's like I'm involved too. Like I'm gonna help. I'm gonna at least if we save one alcoholic, like we'll be doing our job. So we had sophomores. One kid had been busted. He started in the state championship, kind of touchdown as a sophomore. Had been busted 3 times going in before his junior year. One was a DUI. That's an issue for me. Like that's an issue. So here I come. I'm Superman. I'm gonna punish you, and at least I can do my part. And if you don't want to listen to the high school football coach, and maybe I could change your lives. Maybe I could try. I'm gonna do it. So I busted them. Whatever. They knew this kid was going to be done with sports for a year. So they all came together and said, all right, we didn't admit to Coach Stokes. We didn't admit to him, which they all did. And we didn't admit to him. We're going to hold our ground. We're going to lie. And we're going to say that he made that story up. So they call me in, right? They suspend me they come in. I'll never forget it, man. They slide this piece of paper off and said, you're on paid administrative leave. And I stood up and I started smiling. I'm like, that's perfect. Like, good. You need to do your research. You need to figure. You better be, because you better be so good. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was young. You better be so good at your job they can't say shit. Do your investigation. Do your investigation. If people came and investigated you as a coach right now, would they find anything? So 3 days later, it took 3 days. 3 days later, the superintendent calls me in, says, Geron, we found that you really care about kids. Yeah, you're hard. You say some uncomfortable things a lot. Say some wild things, but man, you really love kids. That's what they found. And the lesson was, man, you better be so good at your job. They can't say shit. When we first got the Coffman job, it was like, you're calling kids F and P's and you're saying all this wild stuff. I said, come on. And I tell our coaches all the time, you better be so good at your job. They're attacking you. What we do is hard. Our jobs are hard, and we demand hard work from people, and we make them climb a mountain that they don't want to climb. And instead of just saying, that's too hard for me, they attack. People are coming, whether it's an athletic director, an administrator, a school board, a parent, players. They're coming for your job. Maybe not your job. They're going to put you under a microscope. So you better be so good at your job that they can't say shit. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a young coach. Surround yourself with really good people, man. God dang. Pause right now and think like, okay, the people that I spend my time with, how high are their standards? I wish somebody would have sat me down and locked me up and said, because when I was a 23-year-old head coach, I wasn't hanging around with elite people. Are the people that you're surrounding yourself with crushing it? Go to their careers. Are they great whatever at their jobs? Are they great dads? Are they great friends? Like, are they absolutely crushed? Because here's what I found. In 15 years as a coach, the better my foxhole has gotten, the better I've gotten. It's crazy how that works. Pause and think. I know we do this with our guys, but I look at the coaching profession. I'm like, wait a minute. Like there's some scumbags out there that hang around scumbags, and then they go tell the kids they better act right. They better live with discipline. They better be unselfish. But you're a scumbag. Just do what I say. Don't do what I do. Right? Like surround yourself with really good people. I got a group text going on right now with some elite human beings. Elite human beings. I'm the dumbest guy in there. I'm the most undisciplined guy in there. And all they do is make me better. And it's crazy that like how we as adults don't do what we ask our kids to do, but then when we do, we can have more influence and impact over the kids. It's crazy. So surround yourself with really good people. The better your foxhole will get, the more impactful you can be as a football coach. I wish somebody would have said that when I was a younger coach. It would have happened faster for me. Fight all the fights. God dang. Listen, I wish somebody would have told me this when I was a young coach. Fight all the fights. As a coach, you're going to have a fist fight every single day. It's a fist fight every day. Somehow, somewhat. Somebody in the program is going to try to lower the standard every single second of every single day. That's what humans do. And if you're going to complain about your assistant coach not being prepared at practice and not address it and not handle it, or you're going to complain about your quarterback not studying, not sitting up front in class, you're going to complain about your AD not having your back, you're going to like that was me. And then be like, God dang, why do I have to fight you all the time? That is the job. That is the job. We signed up to fight all the fights. Pick your battles. I was told, I wish somebody would have told me, no. You fight every single fight. You fight. It's like you got sentenced to life in prison. Look, they're coming to fight you. There's a good book out there. The coffee bean guy. What's his name? He's a quarterback at Texas State, whatever. I don't know. He ended up going to prison, and he said, he's like, fight all your fights, man, because they're coming to fight you. That's the same thing as a coach. If you do not want to fight, the standard is going to get lowered. If you turn your back because you're exhausted or you're worn out because you don't want to like fight this parent because this parent's acting like an idiot in the stands and you don't want to address it, standard's going to get lower. You don't want to address the coach that walks in to the weight room with the coffee and just stands there like this. You don't want to address it, standard's getting lower, right? Kids don't want to practice, or standard's going to get lower. You can't wear out because of the fight. In fact, you should probably gain energy from the fights. I get excited. Like I had a parent email. I usually delete all parent emails and just immediately delete them and be like, hey, why'd your mom email me, man? I had a parent email. The title was "Please Don't Delete," and said she was coming in. I wanted to talk to you. Kids at 2B sophomore on the verge of quitting. You can smell that the behavior. You can see it. I get excited from that. Like, come on, we're gonna fight all the fights. We're gonna fight all the fights. Why wouldn't you? Why would you? If you're one of those guys that's a victim, like, man, I got to do this. God, these parents want me to do this. The AD wants me to do this. Like, you should get out of the profession. Fight all the fights, man. It's really hard. God dang. I wish somebody would have told me when I was a 23-year-old head football coach, like, it's hard. This is hard to do. The people that do it at a very high clip for a very long time, they are freaking dogs. This is hard. It's never easy. When you're 0-10 and you've got all the problems in the world, it's just as hard. I'm telling you, it's just as hard when you win state championships. It is hard. It is hard. And if you're not willing to go through hard and persevere through hard and like model like excitement through hard for your guys, you're going to have a tough time in the coaching profession. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was young. It's hard. Whether you're a good coach or a bad coach, it sucks either way. I see all these guys get out of coaching because they want to spend more time with their family. I always smile like they didn't think it was going to be hard, huh? They didn't think it was going to be hard. It's hard. It's hard. If you do it the right way or you do it the wrong way, it's hard either way. So the moment you get tricked into thinking that this is going to be easy, or like we won a state title and we had a bunch of guys coming back, and you know what our staff was like, oh, back to back, like back to back, we're going to go back to back. I'm like, boys, it's going to be freaking hard. It's going to be hard. Every single year after winning the title, it's harder than it was ever winning the title. It's hard. You're going to have to go through plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. I tell our kids all the time, I always say, how many of you guys think about quitting? And the whole locker room, it goes up and I'm like, me too. Probably about every 4 hours, I'm like, shit, what else can I do? Like, what else can I do? Like, it's hard. It's hard. It's what it takes. Like anytime, if you don't have a different relationship with hard, you're in for a long time. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was 23, man. Like, hey, like whether you're at Urbana, whether you're at Minster, whether you're at Coffman, whether you're at whatever school, it's freaking hard, man. So you better have a great relationship with hard. Holy cow. God dang, I wish somebody would have told me this when I was 23. Talent matters. Oh, we outcoached those guys. Those guys, God, if we would have changed rosters, God, we would have killed those guys, right? You guys have all said that. Holy cow, if we had their dudes, geez. Listen, here's a newsflash, coaching profession. The guys that win, they have really good players. We do this tackling circuit, and like our guys out tackle those guys because that tackling circuit. Or you have better athletes that just drop people when they go run to them. Like that's just how it worked. Oh man, we created a lot of turnovers there. That was because our defense flew to the football. Or you had faster guys that just ran to the football. Yeah, I'm not coaching matters time. But god dang, go look at the Final Four at each division. They have really good players. Here's Eli Wolf. This kid walked on at Tennessee, ended up grad transfer to Georgia. Hey, you know what we did when we had him? We won a state title. Ooh, good coaching, right? They would put an outside linebacker like number 47 and a neck roll over top of him to jam him, and they'd have number 18 back there in a stagger stance over top of him, double cover. Like, you can't throw the double cover. You know what we did? We threw back shoulder fade like 19 times a game, double covered. You know what he did? He just caught it over top of people, dunked it. We dapped each other like, we can coach. We can coach. Like, look, talent matters, guys. Talent matters. The guys that are winning at the highest levels, man, like they're talent acquisition guys. They got guys moving in. Talent matters. Yes, coaching matters some, but man, I wish somebody would have told me, Geron, like, you're going to be a really good coach when you have really good players. And Geron, like, you're going to be a bad coach when you have bad players. I wish somebody would have told me that because man, that changes your outlook. The only things you regret are the things you shortchange, man. I'm telling you, the coaching profession, I wish somebody would have told me that when you're 23. Like, hey, listen, dump your whole heart and soul into it. And the record won't matter. In fact, the impact won't matter. If you get your whole heart and soul into it and you go full blast 24/7, 365, man, you'll never regret that. In fact, I'm in year 15. 7 years ago, I couldn't tell you our record. But I know this. There's no better feeling than at the end of the season, walking off the field and bawling your eyes out. Driving home, my ass is at 2-10 the night after the game, like just a mess. Or resigning from a place. I'll never forget, I was driving I-75 South, and I sent a text message to our entire group chat at Minster High School, or our coaches staff text, and I said, hey, guys, I think I'm going to take the Coffman job. And I was freaking about to die. Like, I almost didn't get home. Like, I was just a mess. They got my whole heart and soul. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a young coach. Give people your entire heart and soul. Everything you have. There's no better feeling. Listen, we've done this twice. We've run a state title like this twice. But bang, not nearly as good of a feeling as it is at the end of the year when you know, man, that was the best I had. That was the best I had. That was everything I had. I didn't shortchange a freaking thing. The only thing that you'll ever regret. You'll make mistakes. That's what we do. You'll cross the line sometimes. Like, you'll mistreat a kid. You'll miss something. Some kid will quit, and you're like, damn, I saw that coming. I never even addressed it. You won't regret those things. You won't regret those. You'll regret being lazy because you cheated the stud linebacker that deserved your best. Give him your heart and soul. How much? I'm good, man. It's not about you. God dang, I wish somebody would have told me this when I was 23. It ain't about you and your career. It's not, man. It's about all of those kids on your roster and their experience playing high school football. It's not about you. Holy cow, I wish somebody would have tied me down and thrown freaking socks. What that one movie where they socks and soap and they just beat the hell out of it? I wish they would have said this. It's not about you, man. It's not about your feelings. It's not about your process. It's not about your thoughts. It's not about your career. It's not about your attention. It's not about anything about you. It's about those dudes and their experience. So what are you giving them? Are you preparing them for the right stuff? It's not about what you think. It's about their experience. It's about their process. It's about their habits. It's about their standards. Can you get them to do it? Well, how do you do that? I don't know. There's all kinds of different ways. But God dang it, we all swim in Lake Me at times. You can't do that as a coach. I wish somebody would have told me that at 23. It's not about you. So what? You're tired. So what? You got something going on at home. So what? You don't like this kid. You don't like the way this kid carries himself. So what? It's about helping him. So do whatever it takes to help him. God dang, I wish somebody would have told me that. I remind myself that every single day because like probably 100 times a day because that's hard, man. It's not about you. It's not about you. Don't be a slug. God dang, I wish somebody would have told me this when I was young. Don't be a freaking slug. The zombie guy that just goes through the motions, that is real slow moving with low energy, that shortchanged people, that cheats kids, the guy that skips the weight room but demands the kid to go to the weight room, the coach that shows up to practice and doesn't coach real hard, sits with his arms crossed because it's easier. You know, I had a guy. I'm not a rah-rah guy. I said, grade your energy level at practice. Well, I'm not a rah-rah guy. That's an excuse for you don't have enough energy to coach hard all practice long. Rah-rah guy. Like, don't be a freaking slug. Don't be a slug. The kids feed off the coach's energy. I did, you did, the coach, the kids forever moving on will look to the coach for their energy. Don't be a freaking slug. Don't be the guy at a clinic not taking notes. Don't be the guy that doesn't spend any time in the offseason getting better. The slugs need to go. We are models for children. We are models for children. So be a freaking model. Evaluate. Am I the standard for how our guys should live, act, breathe, talk, walk, whatever it is? Don't be the freaking slug. There's too many slugs in our profession. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a young coach. I had a mentor. He was an art teacher, man. He was an art teacher. He's a tough guy. He was a trainer for us at Urbana High School. He'd come down in his, like, what do you call it, apron with his paint all over him. And he goes, Stokesy, he's like, you know the root word, you know where the word coach came from? I'm like, no, Mr. Simpson, I have no clue. Like, I don't like. It's an old like horse and buggy thing where they take one person from one spot to another. That's where the word coach came from. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's cool. He's like, be a freaking coach. Be a freaking coach. And I'm like, Jesus, okay, I will. Your job, your only job is to take that kid wherever he's at and make his ass better. That's it. Every single kid that you come in interaction with, like, that's your job. Be a coach. Not one of those part-time guys, not one of those half-ass guys, not one of those guys that says, do what I say. Do what I say. Don't copy anything. Like, be a real coach. There's too many fake coaches in our society, in our world. Too many fake coaches. Be a freaking coach. Become an expert, right? Demand the best from people. Walk the walk. Like, pour your whole heart and soul into it. Have extremely high standards. Understand that no one really cares. But God dang it, you're a freaking coach. I wish somebody would have told me that when I was young. Be a freaking coach. There's too many fake coaches in our world. Appreciate it, guys. You guys want to get a hold of me and talk defensive football? We'll run to the ball. We'll have good teams. We have good players, like all that stuff. But God dang it, we're going to work our freaking asses off. Appreciate you guys.